Hi, I'm Selina.
And I'm Bel, and together
We are the Fashion Suite podcast.
Let's discover how to make fashion fun, easy, and sustainable.
So you can look great and even feel better about your style choices.
Hello, my fashionistas. Welcome back to the Fashion Suite podcast. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And of course, I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Selina. Darling, how are you today?
Hi guys, I'm actually really good. Can't wait for this episode. And as always, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, well, we have Black Friday just around the corner, and we know how tempting it is to dive into the endless deals and discounts. But how can we shop in a way that it's more mindful and beneficial for us in the long run? And that's exactly what today's episode is about. Let's create our own Green Friday survival guide. Let's call it like that. We will discuss smart shopping strategies to help you prepare for the Black Friday rush without feeling overwhelmed and by understanding how brands operate and the consequences of impulse buying. No, you will be equipped to shop smarter and not harder. Yeah. And also we have a very special guest for today, Stacey. She is a sustainable fashion stylist. She has her own vintage store in Budapest, Hungary, and she does vintage clothing pop-ups here in Vienna. I met her via Instagram and I went to her events, and she's amazing. We always talk about these topics and she knows a lot. So stay tuned because she will join us in a bit.
Yes, I'm very excited about the tips she's giving us.
Yes. And well, Selina, what do we do? I mean, Black Friday is approaching. The excitement and the pressure is starting to increase. No,
Yes.
I start seeing brands that are selling already emails with the must-have deals or the limited time offers, increasing now this pressure to impulse buys.
Yes, it's amazing. Like, especially companies, all the preparation is already done, like, are still doing it. And, like, depends on the industry you're working in, but especially like the marketing industry, they're like, it's just one of the busiest times because it's Black Friday and then it's Christmas around the corner. It seems like all the events are just popping by and it's just all everything around the corner. And I think especially Black Friday, because with Christmas, many people are also using it for Christmas shopping, or as I think, as I might know, like Black Friday started in Philadelphia after the Thanksgiving season, like Thanksgiving festival, as a
Mhm.
kickoff for Christmas gifts buying. And honestly, because I also have a store and be focused on high quality materials, it's a shame because if you want to really give away nice presents and everything, you should think about buy it already now. Think about what do I want to give, what really makes somebody happy, not just like for going out and buying stuff, even
Mhm.
just for myself, like do I really need like this, I don't know, 40th pair of shoes or like the 15th same pullover. It's just like because it's a good price, you like the
Mhm.
picture, and like especially on Black Friday, you're just like very tempted just to click the buying button, especially on your phone or on the computer.
Exactly.
So
And it makes
yeah.
sense that we want to save money, that we want to get something nice for ourselves now that is like the cheapest time of the year, in a way to say it, because some brands do some cheating and increase their
Of course.
prices to lower it, and you end up paying the same price it should be. But it's good to do some mindful shopping, not to really think what we need and to get
Mhm.
the best out of that purchase and not feeling overwhelmed, no, because there's a whole strategy behind here. Brands want to have as much sales as possible, and there is a whole psychology thing behind this. It's not
Of
just
course.
by coincidence. And now, as you said, it's more easier than ever to get what you want in your house. You will, by just one click, you can buy everything you want and receive it at your home.
Of course. I mean, honestly, just like by myself, I remember like last year, it was Black Friday. And some companies also do like Black Week or Black Month. So it's
Yes.
even getting extended just by like one day.
Yes.
And I remember I was just buying things and then I thought like if I don't like it, I'll send it back. So it wasn't even like a conscious buy or something I really needed or I didn't even know if I like it. I was just like, I mean, it was not many things, but like two or three things. And then I was
Mhm.
Okay, if I don't like it, I'm just sending it back. Yes. So I was really just hitting the buying button. I was like, okay, Selina, this has to stop because this is nothing you really want or what you need. And this is not how you should consume things.
Yes, well, research shows, Selena, that more than half of the purchases made on Black Friday are
Mhm.
impulsive, meaning that people end up spending more money that they planned just because they feel pressured and this FOMO, no? This famous
Yeah.
concept of the fear of missing out. Like everyone is getting things, I will get my own as well. And
Of course, but also like for example, like right now, I'm thinking about getting a new vacuum cleaner, for example. So I start thinking now, what could I get for Black Friday?
yeah.
Because you feel like you might need something in few months, and this is why you get like excited about Black Friday, and this is also why you might buy more than normally, or even things you don't really need, but you think you will need it.
Yes, I personally have felt this rush to buy things,
Mm,
but I try to be more mindful and more conscious
mm.
as time goes by. But it's very hard. I mean, I remember last year, that week of Black Friday, I had so many emails in my
Yeah.
folder, like newsletters, and it's like limited time offer, now or never. And it's literally horrible. And how can we deal with this? I mean, you say, okay, I don't scroll on social media anymore, but you receive the emails anyway, or you see everywhere the discounts. So I think it's very important to understand that there's a whole strategy behind here and it's not worth it sometimes. Like it's really, it can have higher costs. You know that
Yeah.
everyone says the cheap things have higher costs. Well, here is also you can have financial stress. No, impulse shopping can feel good in the moment. Maybe it will satisfy you in the moment, but it often leads you to buyer's remorse, regret. You might end up spending more than you planned, leaving you stressed about finances afterwards. I know every case is different, but it can happen. The wardrobe overload, no, I have clients with the capsule wardrobe guides that they have so many tops. They're all the same because she likes it. And yes, but you are having all the same clothing. You cannot wear all, you have no time to wear all of this. You know what I mean? Come back to this concept of conscious shopping, mindful,
Mm,
like, okay, analyze your wardrobe. Maybe now is a good time of the year to see what you really have
yeah.
and what you are missing. Maybe a good leather coat or a nice piece, maybe an investment piece that maybe you can have with discount or not. Because I know, Selena, you don't do this for Black Friday. You don't.
Not really, no. Because I think like because we have specialized in high quality and
Mhm.
like high quality always comes with some production costs and material costs. So there is no chance I can reduce those things for more than 70% or what other companies and brands telling you because this is not possible because it has its cost for the production, the material, everything. So, and as I don't really have big brand names, where
Mhm.
okay, a lot of costs go into marketing. So this isn't really here. So it really comes down to quality. And this is something I can't reduce.
Well, to be honest, for me, when I see a brand that does so much discount, like 70, 80%, or even more than 50,
Yeah.
for me, it loses credibility because
Yeah.
it's like if you can sell this so cheap or with that huge amount of
Yeah.
discount, then your item costs nothing.
Of course. Yes, you're right. You're
You
right.
know, like,
Because if it has a quality or it has standards, then it can't be as cheap
mhm.
because it's not possible.
Yeah, brands
It's
will not reach the point to lose money with the sales. I mean, if they are selling it in that amount, it's because they still making
yeah.
profit in a
Yes,
way.
yes. So no, I totally agree. Like Black Friday, I think even sometimes you can see how a brand is working, or what's the quality of the brand, because you might have seen something, some collections, some blouses, dresses, whatever. And then you can really figure out, as you said, like if they reduce as much, then there has to be something wrong. There has to be something off.
Yes, and also this makes me think about the environmental impact now, because in one hand, when we buy more than we need, it not only affects us now to have the wardrobe overload with the same clothing and you don't know what to wear, but also the environment. No, overconsumption leads to increased waste.
Of course.
And as many of those impulse purchases end up being worn just a few times or not at all because you don't know how to wear. Maybe you bought like a nice skirt and you don't know how to combine it with your closet. But
Yes.
it was cheap, you liked it, but then how do I wear it now? You cannot find inspiration on Instagram. It happens a
Yeah,
lot.
I know.
So also the waste of the shipping, you know what I mean? Like with the
Oh,
cartons,
yeah.
the shipping packaging.
Yes. Yes, you're so right. Because it always has to go back and forth. They have to send it to you, then you
Mm-hmm.
try it on. Then you might, as you said, like just bought the skirt, but you don't know how to combine it, or it just doesn't fit you. You have to send it back. And it's like all the way, all the pollution, which is just caused by transportations. This is insane.
Yeah.
Like literally. So we talk about like all the time environmentally friendly. We want to be
Mm.
sustainable. We want to be conscious. And I think nowadays more and more people try to or eat less meat and like all the things which are happening. And then like on Black Friday, you just buy something online, let it ship to you, and then send it back. Sometimes I can't really even describe it because I feel like
Mm.
it's such a waste of raw materials. Like as I said, you need a car, you need a train, you need maybe an airplane just to get or a ship. It has to get where you are. And
Yeah.
especially nowadays when they produce like many things in Asia, don't say like everything. You think about it, like how they have to ship it here or fly it in. So there's a lot of pollution and like we really should think about that as well.
Yeah, with things that we don't think about, no? Like
Yeah.
transportation, or for example, last year, I remember I was feeling so overwhelmed with all these emails. Even the same Black Friday, that like the day indeed, I woke up with hundreds and hundreds of
Mhm.
newsletters. And
Yes.
afterwards, in the afternoon, I don't remember exactly when, but I was scrolling on Instagram. I follow some sustainable fashion accounts or sustainable living accounts, no, that gives
Mhm.
like tips in your daily life for a more sustainable approach. And they were saying even newsletters are pollutive. Why? Because like yes, we are
Okay,
reaching
I'm
that
excited.
point.
Yes.
We are reaching that point because like having a lot of emails in your email account is contaminating because they are storage in a cloud, but a cloud actually is a physical place that puts all the information there. So we, to be more sustainable, should remove our emails, like really delete them. Because having a lot, it increases the capacity and this place to storage, and they are contaminating because they take electricity. They need to be connected the whole day. Like, I don't know the technices, but I was like feeling super overwhelmed because you have information, like you know how it's working, and at the same time you have the pressure to buy, and you receive a lot of emails, and afterwards reading, no, emails are even more contaminating. So brands should not send so many newsletters. I was like, okay, enough,
Wow.
enough of
This
internet.
is mind blowing. I never thought about that to be honest, but I definitely can see the point.
Yeah,
But it's mind
it makes
blowing.
sense, but it's like,
Yes.
what do I do? I throw away from a building, because it's like I cannot do
There are
anything.
so many aspects to think about it. But
It's
actually, this was never one I've ever imagined about thinking.
But it's true.
Yes.
And as time goes by, I don't think many things are changing. Although I know there's a Green Friday movement that
Yeah.
some brands are doing. Now, Selena, what do you know about this?
It's like, of course, at some point, it's like a marketing strategy, like especially like for environmentally friendly brands. But what are they doing? They're also giving you discounts, but
Mm,
instead of calling it Black Friday, they call it Green Friday. And you might also get like 20% off. But it's a thing
okay.
about same a bit of like greenwashing because they're still giving you discounts. So for me, for example, what I more prefer is like instead of doing like a big discount or anything, maybe do some extra work. So like, hey, come by, you have, I don't know, one time cleaning for free more or something like this.
Mm.
Just giving an advantage for this clothing, which should be this would be more green, like as a Green Friday and not just like, oh, we are environmentally friendly brands so instead of calling it Black Friday, we also give you a discount, but just call it Green Friday.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky, no?
Yes.
It's like It's a complicated thing because I also know that as a brand, you have to sell. And it's like you have to sell in order to survive, but at the same time, you are a sustainable fashion brand, for example, and you have your values and you know there has to be a limit, but you want to sell as well.
Of course. And honestly, as a business owner, there's also a pressure as a business owner because people ask you, like customers, oh, don't you have any Black Friday deals? And they're like, yeah, well, we give you like 10%, 15%. But sometimes they're even looking at you, this is not enough. We
Mhm.
need more. We are
Mhm.
used to getting 50% off for like 60%, 70%. It's so used. So people are so used to that, they take it for granted that every store and every brand has to do it.
No, yes, there's a whole thing behind this, but the best thing is to have information, not feeling overwhelmed, maybe start thinking, okay, what do I really need so I can get advantage of the discount? Like, why not?
Mm.
Why
Of
why do you,
course.
why not? But don't worry because you are not alone in this. We are all in this together and we have got Stacey with us today and she's going to share her expert tips on how to survive the Black Friday run without falling into the impulse shopping trap. So, hello, Stacey. Thank you so much for coming. We are very happy to have you here. Please tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do.
Thank you so much, guys, for inviting me. It's such an honor and pleasure to be on the podcast. I already told Belle that I actually listened to the first one of your episodes while I was in my shop. That was like the best time spent. And you know what's good about your podcast is that I can actually relate to you because I know you personally, and it's always so good to have a connection because all the podcasts that I listen to are usually in States
Yes.
or they are in a different language that I wouldn't understand probably. So that's fantastic. So thank you so much for having me here. So my name is Stacey. I'm sustainable stylist and I do own a shop. It's a curated vintage shop in Budapest. I also organize the pop-ups here in Vienna. That's how I actually met Belle. And I guess my journey to the sustainable fashion have started. Honestly, it seems like it's been forever. At the same time, I also feel like I'm newbie, you know. There's
Yeah.
always so much to learn. I started off as a fashion blogger, as many of us I think did, who are working in the industry back in
Yeah.
2011. And ever since then, I had developed slowly an interest for styling. I was working with people. At the same time, I was introduced to secondhand shops because back in Hungary, my friends who were just out of university, they were also shopping secondhand. Partially because I think people could not really afford, especially again out of university, they couldn't really afford to shop in regular stores. So secondhand was like a go-to option, and that's when they showed me all the wonders of secondhand shopping. And I
Nice.
because yeah, it's actually very interesting because I kind of combined it with styling as well. My very first client, who was the girl who was graduating from the university, she asked me to find a prom dress, not a prom dress, but what do you call it? Like a graduation ceremony
Yeah.
dress.
Yes.
And we found it
That's very nice.
secondhand, which was absolutely amazing. So yeah, I've been combining styling and secondhand shopping for a while. But yeah, fast forward to now, I have a shop. And my shop, so it's a curated vintage shop in Budapest, and I specialize in having natural material, good quality cuts, silhouettes. That could be both vintage and contemporary clothing. The main idea is that I was once looking for something that was not available in Hungary, which is good quality clothing for affordable price. And to be honest, till this day, it's even more difficult to find something like this in shops. So my solution is finding those pieces in secondhand shops, bringing them back to life, and
A new life
yeah,
to the clothing.
yeah. So I source the items. They're good quality. I mend them. I wash them. I take a good care of them, and I bring them to life. And I think so far it's been a really great project, especially combined now with what I do as a stylist as well on the side. That's a fantastic two-way combination because I can help people on site to make sure that the purchase that they make with me will stay with them for a very long time. Yeah, so I think that's briefly about me.
That's very nice. I really like to hear this because you are also like us. We always try to communicate this in a way to have clothing with a meaning, that
Yeah.
means something to you. Well, I am very attached to my clothing. I always say this, but because there's a story behind it. But it's very nice because you also do yourself the same in your pop-up events or in your store to make it meaningful for the client, no? And while
Oh, absolutely.
styling it in their own how they like
Yes,
it.
yes. And I would say that it's actually also as a business owner, it's in my interest as well to make sure that the people who leave my shop, they leave inspired, so they have good memories from that experience, so they would come back. And also, again, I think as a representative of the business that is secondhand with a lot of stigma around the words as secondhand, right? I think I have a certain responsibility to teach people that there should be no bad stigma behind the word secondhand, And I like to call it pre-loved, but it takes a bit of time to explain to people what pre-loved exactly means. So, of course, you usually opt for secondhand.
That's very nice. So, you know that with Selina, we were talking earlier in the episode about Black Friday, no? That is around the corner and it's such a busy time for brands and consumers alike. But I would like to hear from you what you do for your shop during Black Friday, if you are part of it or not, and how you communicate this time of the year to your customers via social media or if you do the events, the pop-up events. How do you manage this?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. And, when we were talking about it earlier, you've mentioned term Green Friday, that there is a certain movement that sort of substitutes the Black Friday. To be fair, I try to avoid talking about Black Friday at all. I'm still navigating the waters because, it's very busy and very noisy during this period. So as a business owner, I try to not engage in the conversation at all. So I'll be honest, I ignore the topic because it's just overwhelming. If you look even at my feed, and I don't shop online, I don't shop firsthand. Even I get the ads, all sorts of ads, and I don't want to be another sort of polluter, another piece of this noisy bundle on the internet. So I try to avoid it. I know that people would still shop. I know that I can tell them things, I can advocate for certain things, but I also, again, believe that it's a busy period and perhaps the conversation should actually early. So it's not the Black Friday period, when this conversation should be started. We should know this information well ahead, so we are actually prepared for the temptation that comes with the Black Friday.
Yes. And I think you also as a business shop owner, working with fashion, taking care of good quality pieces, you created them and everything. It's hard for us because I'm also in the same position. So I don't want to give you I can't give you that discount because it's the quality of the piece.
Oh, yes.
And it's there's no way I can reduce my clothing, and I think you're in the same position, like minus 70 or 80%, because the quality is there. It's like a good, nice quality cut, as you said, and like good natural materials. And this is just quality which has its value. So we are not
Oh,
in the
absolutely. Yeah, Selina, actually, this is such a good point. I think I never really considered that, but that is so true. I cannot afford to give such a discount
No,
because I value the work that I do, the time that I put into. I don't have, I'm sorry, the sweatshops. I don't have slave labor. I'm the only person that works on those things, and I know the value of it. So I absolutely agree with you. This is a fantastic point to add.
Yes, I think it also gives your pieces more value, more quality, and people still think more about it and they want to buy at your store because they know you have good quality pieces, good materials, you take care of them correctly and nicely. You take care, it's a nice cut. You even style it together with your customer so that they don't buy just a dress or a blouse. You give them like maybe 5 ways how they can combine it, and you have 5 different looks with it.
Yeah.
So this
That's
is just
also a
something.
value. That's also a
Yes.
value.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's a great value.
And I think like Black Friday is there. Of course, as a sales, like as a business owner, you want to do sales and you want to have high sales numbers. But on the other
Exactly.
hand, you don't want to push your customers to just
Exactly.
buy and shop and then bring everything back because you just bought something in the second and because you were just attempting to it.
Oh, absolutely. This is also a fantastic point to add. Yeah.
And Stacey, do you have some practical tips that people can use to stay focused, avoid falling for every deal they see during the sales season? Do you have something to share with us, for our listeners, how we can navigate in this time of the year? Because it's true, I also get not only ads on Instagram, for example, but so many emails, so many newsletters
Oh,
that
yes.
that week or that same Friday is like crazy. So how can we deal with this?
Yeah, I think the best thing, like it's not going to be new information, I think, for anyone, but sticking to a list is a great idea. And I'm not talking about to like start writing things down before Friday, like that
Hmm.
week. No, no, you should have, and this is coming, from me, not as a shop owner, but as a stylist. When I work with people, we always have a shopping list. And these are the kind of things that people don't really buy right away. They buy throughout a year. So the other time we had a coat for my client, and it like she's still looking for that coat. I need to get an update on that, but I think she's still looking for that coat because it's been a while. It's been half a year. And I think this is a fantastic way to approach it when you have a list with you that you constantly update, and you know what suits you, what kind of cut you should look for, what is the optimal color. If you have kids, you shouldn't be maybe going for white or beige. You should go for something darker. Is it shorter? Is it longer? You should have very specific list, and if you stick to it, then you can definitely, and I do encourage you because we all like deals and we all want to have deals. And I know that people shop not only secondhand, even though I do encourage it, but I'll be honest, majority of my clients, they they would go, especially for bigger items such as, again, coats, shoes, they would go firsthand. And for that, you have to have a list. Another thing that is good to do is abandoning the shopping cart. I'm sure you're familiar with this theory. It's like if you have the urge to buy something, shop beforehand, shop before Black Friday, put it in the basket. If you remember about this thing in like 2, 3 days, then yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
If not, then you should just throw it out. That's okay.
It was an
Yes.
impulse of the moment, if
Yeah,
not.
yeah, absolutely.
Yes, I tend to overthink so much the purchases.
Really?
Yes, because sometimes I feel guilty. Uh, then I want to convince myself about a purchase. And maybe this is something that sometimes when you have so much information in your head about sustainability, that should be better secondhand than firsthand, or like
Oh,
a new
yes.
piece, I overthink a lot. But sometimes I think it's good to do that instead of impulse purchases.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's like a nice
Okay.
combination of both. Not to
That's
overthink it, but still think about it if you're really worried. Because as
Hmm.
we also always say, as long as you're enjoying the piece, what you're going to buy, and you are sure you're going to wear it for the next years, then it's fine too. It's
oh,
just,
absolutely, yeah.
A meaningful purchase,
yes.
let's say.
Yeah.
Stacey, one last question because it's my personal interest. What are you looking for the pieces you sell in your store? So you, as you said before, and you mentioned just natural materials. So which materials are you using, or how do you make sure that it's high quality? Do you have like a secret recipe you're looking for, or do you have like a plan or strategy for pieces you're selling in your store?
Yeah, sure. So I think for me, what's important is that the material is natural. I think we all here know what natural materials are, because of like many reasons actually. I think for me, the most important reason for that is that natural materials, they all at some point will biodegrade and they usually last longer. They are more pleasant on your skin. I also started to dive into the topic of toxic chemicals on your clothing and how bad they are for our health. But that's a whole another topic,
Yeah.
maybe for you guys to explore one time. Um, in terms of cuts, I try to go for, so I was very fortunate growing up with my mom who was very much into fashion, but it was never about the labels or trends, even back then, but it was more of the understanding the garment. So understanding what good quality garments are. And I grew up wearing natural materials only, and I knew how a proper blazer should fit, and that I know that what kind of structure. I don't have like an educational background of it that you probably, Selena, have, right? Because you
Yeah.
work in design and you studied design, if I remember correctly. I don't have that, but visually, if I were to be sourcing something, I would probably try it on myself just to see visually where do the shoulders land, how does the proportion look like. And if it's something that is wearable, if I know that this is I think it also, for me, what really works well is that understanding that my customers are people who are like me. They probably want something a little bit more versatile. I don't specialize in clothing that is too colorful or too, vintage looking. We're not talking about crazy 80s or anything like that. Something more elevated.
Elegant.
These are elegant.
Classy.
Yes.
I love your pieces.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so I think I'm looking for something that I would wear normally, that women can wear in different styles, that they can interpret it their own way. So there are a lot of sort of elevated basics, I would call them, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like some capsule wardrobe for yourself and for all your customers for the right colors and right shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Even though I don't like the words capsule wardrobe because people have a very specific definition,
Yeah.
but I think you can call it that way. Yeah, I think that's a great way to describe it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
because
a
it's pretty-
selection of clothing.
Yeah,
Not make it so standard, but a nice base to mix and match in between.
Yes.
absolutely. And I think we all can put our own different spin on that if the item
Yes.
does not have a very specific style to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Amazing.
like it.
Thank you so much, Stacey, for this insightful conversation. I really, really enjoyed it. Please share with us your social media handles where people can find you and follow you, and your shop as well.
Thank you so much, ladies, for this call. It was such an amazing call. You can follow me and find me on Instagram. It's at Stacey_KO. And my shop is enroute_BP.
Great. We will have it anyway in the description of the episode so people can click and follow you. And well, thank you so much again for your time. We really enjoyed it. And until the next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
So, wow, thank you, Stacey, for all those amazing tips. We had a great conversation, right, Selena?
Yes, I really loved it. And honestly, those tips are amazing. And now I feel more prepared for Black Friday than I was before.
Yes, and to all our listeners, remember it's possible to enjoy the sale season without getting overwhelmed or even over shopping. So it's good to plan ahead, set a budget, and always keep sustainability in mind when choosing your purchases, no? With consciousness and mindfulness. So yeah, that's all for today. Thank you all. Thank you, Selena. Don't forget to follow the Fashion Suite podcast on Spotify so you never miss an episode. You will have the links of our social media and for the fact sheets to receive it in your email in the description of the episode. And yeah, thank you for your support. And we can't wait to see you in the next episode of the Fashion Suite podcast.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.